when you got your workloads deployed, so now is a good time for us to actually test whether all of the resources and all of the workloads on Kubernetes is actually properly deployed. Of course, you can actually test it by opening your browser and go to the random domain that we created in order to verify that ASP.NET application is actually deployed. However, we also put some automated tests in order to verify that the deployed resources are in order and with the naming conventions and whether all of the resources are correct in within Kubernetes as well on Azure, right? So when you're in the standalone, you can click into the AKS, and then you can go down. After these validations, then you can see the test step. So the first thing that you can do is you can go ahead and export the subscription ID and the prefix, as well as the environment, right? So I'm just going to verify whether the prefix is set correctly. So it's in no. The reason that it's in no is because I'm not in the standalone yet. So what I need to do is I need to copy this path, cd, put in here. Okay, so right now I'm gonna run this again and echo out the prefix. Right, okay, so now I got the right prefix. Now what I need to do is I'm gonna go into the test folder. I'm gonna recompile the module for my test project. So what you are going to see is there is a go test for the shared services. So let me actually go ahead and run this first for you to know what is it doing. But when we look at the test folder, you will see the shared services here. So you can actually click into the expected value, see the log analytics workspace, the resource group name, and essentially this is what we are going to test and kind of append the prefix with these resource names so that we will be able to just assert whether these resources actually exist within our subscription, right? As you can see, the Go test is running and it's passing that test, right? The following test is, let me actually go back to the AKS README. Pardon me for all the open tabs, but let's see. So let's go to Go test AKS test, right? So in order to verify what is in AKS test, you can actually go into the AKS here, you go to the expected values. So here, what you're able to see is the cluster name, resource group name, default node pool, user node pool, agent count, and like very many others resources that we are expected when we deploy AKS landing zones, right? As you can see, all of these are tested and properly passed the test. So the next thing what we are completing the test with is to be able to go here and then run these commands. So these commands will essentially import in the kubeconfig for the clusters so that we are verifying that we are oh yeah. So for this we actually need to be inside okay, we actually need to be inside the standalone folder. So let me see the standalone folder. Okay, so that's where our TF state is. So we're gonna execute this command. It's gonna merge in the kubeconfig, and we're gonna come back into the test folder and run the last test. So in order to verify that we are actually able to connect to our clusters, we're gonna do the kubectl get PO get part. As you can see, all the parts are good. So you can actually go ahead and run our flux test, right? So the flux test is a bit more interesting than the other tests. So the flux test not only compares the name, but you can actually go into the flux test in here. And let's see, there are some expected values. For the context name and the baseline cluster baseline settings name. However, in the flux test, there are a few things that we test on whether Flux were able to deploy the secret store CSI driver. As you can see, that is listing all the parts and trying to see if there is a part with this label, right? App equal to CSI secret store. And then it's also testing, the Azure Key Vault CSI provider part, checking with the label here, CSI Secret Store Provider Azure. And of course, it's mostly checking the parts, whether it's provisioned correctly. So first of all, Flux. Second of all is the AAD part identity controllers. And then there are some courage controllers, as well as some other parts, right? So yes, as you can see, some of them passed the test, and it's quite evident here. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful for you to learn about how to test your workload, either being provisioned by Terraform or being provisioned by Flux. Thank you very much for your time.